Coming up on Mountain News at 6, a hearing is held for the former Letcher County Sheriff accused of murdering a judge. And on the 6-month anniversary of the February flood, how folks building a new high ground community are hoping to help flood survivors save money after they move in.
Well, we had a hot start to the weekend. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Details on that coming up.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A man is in federal custody after a drug and weapons trafficking investigation in Martin County. The Sheriff's Department Chief Deputy says they were able to purchase drugs and weapons from Jimmy Cornett. While serving the warrant, they also arrested a woman who was with a 4-month-old child that was near suspected drugs. Cassandra Hamilton was taken to the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. The baby was handed over to Child Protective Services. Mickey Stein was back in the courtroom today for a status hearing, bringing the former sheriff from Leslie County's detention center back to the building where the murder of Judge Kevin Mullins occurred. WYMT's Buddy Forbes shares the latest.
Former Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Stein appeared in court today where his attorneys discussed many motions, including one motion to unseal his court-ordered psychiatric evaluation.
This is a man with a great respect for the law, and he's built his life around upholding the law and serving his community. Judge, there's nothing.
Attorneys for Stein say the results of that psychological evaluation will be relevant to supporting the defense in the murder charge against the former sheriff. They say they plan to use some of the findings in their defense to ensure the court has a, quote, full and fair understanding of the relevant facts. Stein's attorneys also brought up testimony from a trooper that claimed he believed Stein's was of sound mind the day of the shooting, saying had the grand jury not been told by someone from the government that he was sane, they would not have indicted Stein's, or at least not for murder. The Commonwealth was given 2 weeks to respond to the unsealing motion and discuss the motion to dismiss the indictment in the case and the motion to set a bond, saying there is ample recorded evidence of what happened, with the judge saying this case is not a, quote, whodunit.
That's why they come up and introduce a video during the preliminary hearing. It's very clear what happens in the preliminary hearing. The only thing that's relevant is, in fact, the charges themselves. And the Supreme Court said, if you are charged with a capital offense, you are not entitled to that.
Stein's attorneys maintain that he should be released as they await a trial date, saying he is not a risk to anyone, and claiming the Commonwealth has not proven otherwise.
I mean, this is a tough thing on Mr. Steins. I mean, you're the sheriff one day, and then the next day you find yourself behind the jail walls, and it's a tough thing. This is a tragedy. Make no mistake about it. This is a tragedy for everyone involved. But, you know, Mr. Steins is resilient.
Attorneys for Steins also argue that the case should go back before a grand jury, eliminating some of the testimony from a trooper that claims Steins was sane during the time of the incident. In Letcher County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The Commonwealth maintains that the indictment and all meetings with the grand jury have followed the law, and there is no legal standing to dismiss the indictment. The next court date is expected to be set after the attorneys respond to the motions discussed today. Folks in Middlesboro are hosting a True Justice for Baby Elena March and Vigil. It is happening in just a little bit at the Middlesboro City parking lot at 6:30. Organizer of the vigil, Justin Howard, says folks in the community want closure for the death of 17-month-old Elena Hembry, which happened 2 years ago. He says in previous years, many people have come out to show their support.
I'm sit in a chair, hold a candle, and that shows that baby Elena has not been forgotten. I've been to her grave several times and apologized to that child for what happened to her. I didn't know her. I knew of her family, but I can't let Elena be forgotten.
He says he hopes the community comes out in droves to show their support for Elena Hembry. We'll get ready for a stretch of mainly dry and hot days with high temperatures expected in the 90s through the middle of next week. First Alert meteorologist Eric Dean has our first look at the weekend forecast. Eric.
Steve, sunscreen will be your friend as we go throughout the weekend. We'll see plenty of sunshine, temperatures in the 90s. Right now we're sitting at 88 in Boonville. Feels like 94 out there. And that's not the warm spot. Look at Monticello. 96 degrees is the current temperature. We're at 91 in Manchester, 88 Boonville, 90 Irvin, 90 in Somerset. But you factor in that feels like temperature. Look at Monticello. Already at 107. 98 in Somerset, 94 Boonville, 92 in Prestonsburg, 89 in Pikeville. So here's a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar right now. All is quiet for now. I am keeping an eye on a little bit of a stray shower between Lexington and Danville, but that's it. If you have plans over the next several hours, all in all, we're going to stay mainly quiet. Temperatures will be in the 60s and 70s overnight. Now, the question is how long will the heat and humidity last? I'll have that answer coming up in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Eric, thank you. Tonight we are hearing from the pastor who survived a gunman's attack on his Lexington church. Jerry Gum was shot multiple times. His wife and daughter were killed. As Amber Philpott reports, Gum left Cardinal Hill Rehabilitation Hospital today and went home for the first time since Sunday, July 13th.
Pastor Jerry D. Gum is finally going home after several surgeries, rehabilitation, and more than a month of medical care.
And you have proved to be nothing less than amazing, and we are so proud of you.
Before leaving, Pastor Gum recounted that tragic day.
And I ran in to evil itself. This man had already done his evil back behind me and terrorized my church.
A gunman opened fire at his church.
Murdered my wife and my daughter, and then he badly injures my son-in-law, and I'm on my power chair. He ambushed me, 81-year-old man, unarmed, crippled, on a power chair, and he began shooting. He began taunting me, cursing me, laughing at me. He shot me off of my power chair. It was either on my head or up on my head, and tried to kill me, but he didn't manage it. He wasn't as bad as he thought he was.
One of the bullets even hit his tongue.
It was in two big pieces. They said it was hanging out of my mouth in the dirt.
Scripture says there is power in the tongue, but it didn't mean it this way.
The doctor said if that tongue hadn't caught that bullet, it would have gone in my head and it would have killed me. God and those miracle workers gave me my tongue back.
While he's thankful he can speak, grief fills his heart.
But I was at least that long finding out that my dear wife was dead and my daughter. I still grieve. That's not depression, that's grief.
After being in a coma for days, he learned his wife, Beverly, and daughter, Christina Combs, died.
Christina Combs. She was 2 months away from graduating from RN school. About my dear wife, she was a wonderful woman. We worked in the Lord's work together.
Now the 81-year-old is going home with scars, both emotional and physical.
This is shrapnel wound. Anybody that's been in war know what shrapnel wounds are.
Show us what you got. You want to show off a little bit? Oh.
As he gets into a van, there's a Bible on the dashboard. It belonged to his wife, a reminder of the love he had and still has today.
Incredible story. Police shot and killed the gunman, Guy House. They say he went to the church looking for an ex-partner, but she was not there. Pastor Gum says he will be at church this Sunday and he will preach his first sermon since the shooting. Incredible. Deputies in Laurel County are looking for a missing man. 34-year-old Victor Lee Smith was last seen on Cherry Hill Avenue around midnight Thursday. He's about 6 feet tall and has tattoos, an eyebrow piercing, and a scar on his lip. Smith was last seen wearing a white shirt and black shorts. If you see him or know where he is, let the sheriff's office know. It's been 6 months now since the devastating Valentine's Day weekend flood that affected parts of eastern Kentucky. WYMT's McKinley Calandrino spoke to the Housing Development Alliance about progress being made on the Skyview Higher Ground community and how they plan on making those homes cost efficient for flood survivors.
The Higher Ground community in Perry County, Skyview, has come a long way.
So as you can see, if you look around the little neighborhood we're starting to build, you see that these houses are being finished now. We're pouring driveways, so it's pretty exciting.
The homes are giving flood survivors a new beginning, and HDA is hoping to give back to these families that have lost everything.
Flood survivors have a big need to make sure these homes are affordable. I mean, they've lost so much. So, you know, as a nonprofit builder, we're building homes that are energy efficient all the time, but with the solar panels, it makes them even more energy efficient. So again, it's going to save the family even more money.
The first 5 homes on Skyview are powered by solar panels. HDA says the panels make the homes net zero, meaning they produce as much energy as they use.
Each month, their bill can be lower than $50 each month. So, you know, when you have all of the rising utility costs like we tend to see here in eastern Kentucky, that's going to be a big thing to help those families.
Samantha Turner, a 2-time flood survivor, is planning to move in her new home in September. She says she's looking forward to the energy-efficient home.
You know, losing pretty much everything you own in a flood, it's a financial burden. The cost-efficient appliances and solar panels and all that's going to be able to keep us on our feet.
Helping flood survivors get back on their feet in more ways than one. In Perry County, McKinley Calandrino, WYMT Mountain News.
HDA officials say all 32 homes on Skyview will have solar panels, and they are getting ready to start building more homes in early September. The state police post in Hazard has a new post commander. Captain Ryan Catron began his career with KSP in 2002. For more than 2 decades, he has served in various roles at posts in Moorhead, Hazard, Harlan, and London. Catron said it was an honor to return to Post 13 and serve the community where he's from.
All right, here's what we're going to talk about coming up in a few minutes. We'll see a brief break from the rain, and here comes the heat and the humidity. Details coming up.
And it could be one of the hottest weekends of the year. Some tips to keep you safe in the sun.